Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Have Your Say Club's Reading Ravens show. In this show, we talk about books read by the members of our club. Today, we will be conversing with Satish Singh, who is a very proactive member of our club. He is not only a spiritual seeker, but also an engineer with Maruti Suzuki. Welcome to the Reading Raven show. Satish, how have you been?
I'm doing good. Good evening, everyone. Good evening to all the club members. So, ma'am, I'm feeling good and looking forward to discuss about this book.
Okay, we have just finished Navratri. So, did you attend any online events such as Garba? There have been many online events of Garba and Dandiya. So, did you attend?
Yeah, I have purchased few of the tickets but didn't attend because I couldn't find any meaning to attending it. But still, I would love to again back to those Garba days when we
Yeah.
physically do dandiyas and all.
Yeah. Of course, maybe you didn't encash your tickets, but I think so. You must have encashed your time during Navratri to finish a fantastic book. So that's the reason we are here sitting talking about the book you have read.
Right, ma'am.
Yeah. Before we delve into the actual book, can you let us know a little bit about the author of this book?
Yeah, the author of this book is Sri Jiddu Krishnamurti. He himself calls himself as a spiritual man who has explored life and who has experienced some very spiritual outlook throughout his journey. The people around him, he has traveled across length and breadth of the world and, and interacted with people in various public meetings along with various eminent personalities as well in form of personal interviews as well, where he has really passed on his message, his understanding of life, his spirituality in a very simplified manner. And even this book is itself in a form of transcript of all those meetings in which he has tried to share, he has tried to answer the questions of the people present in those public meetings. So the book is basically a compilation of all those meetings which has been shared in form of a book.
Okay. So I'm quite curious about the format of this book. If they are interactions, how have they presented these interactions in the book?
They have just noted down in the form of interaction, questions and answers. The people have asked the questions, presented the question, presented their queries, presented their what you could say confusions in form of statements, and the author has answered those questions in the public meetings. And the book consists of all the compilations whenever and wherever he has visited during his entire world travel.
Okay, so this book is basically just a compilation of questions and answers. So
Right.
I'd like to ask you, Satish, why did you pick up this particular book regarding
This
spirituality?
this book has been picked up because this book has got a reference by someone who is also following spirituality. A friend of mine has recommended this book to me because we both were seeking spirituality, and lately I have found it a way to seek spirituality in form of meditation. So whenever we used to discuss about meditation, the my friend of mine suggested me ki just go through this book. This particular personality has a very different meaning of meditation altogether. So once I explored the book, once I tried to understand what this particular person is trying to say, I think my queries were completely sorted off as of now regarding meditation. So this book has its connotation when I started exploring spirituality.
Of course, I think friends are the best source of information for us because we share values and ideas which are at the same level. Now, going on to the book, like you said, it is a compilation of questions and answers. So, would you let us know, like, what were the answers you were searching for, and did you get those answers after reading this book?
Yes, ma'am. Initially, when I started spirituality, looking forward to spirituality, what spirituality actually means, and how I can be more develop a spiritual outlook, I started a way of doing a meditation. Then gradually, initially, whenever I try to follow something about meditation, this is the way, this is the activity that I have to follow. But when I started reading this book, when I started implementing the answers that this particular person has given regarding channelization of thoughts, like observation of thoughts, the way he has talked about this particular thing, this has really helped me a lot. Like he completely negates the fact of controlling your thoughts. He completely asks the person who is meditating should be just observant of the thoughts. If we are observant of our thoughts with full attention, then we can be in the most best meditative state as far as the concept of meditation is concerned, as per this author. And whenever I try to apply this, trust me, this was very difficult. And but when I try to implement it, when I try to observe the thoughts, it gradually become like a flow of water. It becomes so seamless, and then I could understand what exactly the author wanted to portray in the book. So that's how the book has helped me, and that's how the purpose of reading this book was quite solved in this particular way for me.
Okay, I think that's a totally new definition of meditation I have learned today. Like not to control your thoughts and be observant. I think I'm really encouraged to pick up this book and find out more about meditation and practice this unique way of meditation. Moving forward, Satish, we as a human race, we have to coexist in a society. So we are in relationships. So we are bound to have troubles in relationships. So has the author mentioned regarding relationships in his book?
Yes, ma'am. There is a 11 parts. The book has been divided into 11 parts, and each part particularly tries to address various kinds of issues. As I said, that the author has discussed all these things in his public meetings, and definitely a relationship would definitely come because the people have always have a struggle with relationships. So yes, a particular segment of this book talks about relationship as well. And whenever he talks about relationship, the author tries to say it in this fashion that we usually try to create an image of many things, whether it is a person, whether it is a thing. And when we try to create an image, when we try to seek something out of a relationship, then there comes a factor of competitiveness, then comes a factor of conflict in that relationship. So author tries to, and this is as per my understanding from the script in the book, that whenever we try to uh, find something meaning in a relationship, then we try to be, then at that very moment we become kind of selfish in ourselves, that for a particular relationship we are seeking some meaning, seeking some advantage, seeking some comfort, and that is not for the sake of that relationship, that is for the sake of ourselves, which we completely ignore. So this is the kind of things that has been discussed in the book. And obviously if someone reads it and someone tries to observe it, definitely there should be a very clear cut approach is defined in the book, and in which if it is followed, I think various problems could be solved.
Okay. So I understand this is quite an enlightening concept because why we suffer is because we build an image of the person we are in relationship, and then we start expecting whatever we have in mind about that image. So that is the root cause of suffering. I think if we try to ponder what the author wants to convey, we will save a lot of sufferings. That's a great novel concept. Moving ahead, recently most of the news channels are full with concepts of depression and suicidal tendencies. So has the author mentioned something how we can tackle these feelings?
Yeah, of course, there is another script in that particular book which talks about this fashion as well. Uh, the author tries to address this particular question in such a manner that we, from the very beginning, we are so self-centric in our own attitude. Like even if I am saying that I am going to meditate, that it simply means that I am doing it for myself. So the way that we try to seek attention from each and every activity that we are going to do, and if we are trying to do a particular activity just to get an attention, then our expectation from that particular activity also increases. और जब वो एक्टिविटी का करने पे जो अटेंशन है वो एक बार इंक्रीज हो जाता है, तो हम अपने ऊपर एक बर्डन डाल देते हैं कि यस, देन वी ट्राई टू एसोसिएट ourselves with so many things which can give attention to me. Like we can extract attention from those particular things, those particular gatherings, those particular friends. But as soon as these particular things move away, the whole entire truth of ourselves being alone surface in our mind. So at that particular moment, if a person is, suppose if a person has invested his entire life in seeking that kind of attention, and suddenly that attention goes away for even, and we all know that these things are very transient in nature, but giving a lot of emphasis on these things, आपको क्या होता है अचानक से, whenever you get alone and whenever these things fade away, that is the main cause of depression, as far as the author is concerned, as far as the book is concerned. This is what the message he is trying to say. So he is very much clearly trying to put it in this way, that we have to first understand ourselves. We have to first observe ourselves, and we have to first start making a habit of love and compassion with ourselves. Once we are at ease with our own self, then we can also be at ease with others. And then if we are at ease with others, then we are going to make a very fruitful relationship with others. And if we are having a very fruitful and meaningful relationship with others, then these kind of psychological and mental problems will automatically vanish away. This is purely my understanding from reading the book. Maybe if some other person could read, he may have a different understanding.
Okay, what my understanding is from your answer now is like we concentrate too much on ourselves. मुझे
Yeah.
ये मिला, okay, nobody cares for me. So when we have all the thoughts, concentrating only on ourselves, we tend to get isolated, and that is the cause, when we start thinking of all the negative thoughts like suicide and depression. Okay. I think I have got so many questions coming to my mind now, but due to time constraint, let's talk about the basic question, which has been, right from the day I heard what book you're going to talk about. Awakening of intelligence. So, do you mean to say that our intelligence is dormant? Because the human race has always been proud that we are the only intelligent race on this earth. So now you're negating this, that by saying that we have to awaken it. So I want to understand the meaning of awakening of intelligence.
For this, again, the book says in the book, there is a very wonderful statement written. Please listen it very carefully. The book says, being wise is not good. Rather, being good is wise. So let us keep this statement aside for some time. Now, what is intelligence as per the book? The book says, whenever we are like in current times in our day-to-day life, how can you say that a person is intelligent? We always say that if your child is intelligent, or your friend is intelligent, or you are intelligent, just because you can decipher something out of it, what you can read between the lines. This is the common conception of being intelligent. You can solve problems. You can solve problems for yourself, for your family, then you're intelligent. But at the same time, the author tries to hint at that particular moment, because whenever we try to take understand and try to extract something out of it, we are disturbing something for our own benefit. Maybe we could be hampering a particular set of order in particular to achieve. And in if in reality, if you could see, अगर हम एक तरीके से सोचते हैं, तो then at the same time we are thinking that this is going to happen for ourselves. At the same time, there arises a sense of competitiveness in our mind. There comes a sense of taking advantage from that particular situation. For this, the author says that we should be very much clear about, what if we see something. Suppose there is a problem that has arisen in front of us. The purpose of intelligence arises from the very fact whenever we start inquiring about that problem. It is not, intelligence is not about solving the problem. It starts from the very, it awakens from the very point when as soon as we start inquiring about that particular problem. And by inquiring, he suggests that we have to be in very clear cut observation of that particular problem without any formation of an earlier image in our mind. So suppose we see, just for an example to make it more clearer, suppose we see something in front of ourselves for the very first time. But rather than seeing it from our own eyes, trying to observe the very nascent figure of that particular object, we try to link it with the already image that has been formed in our mind. So here comes the problem, actual problem. We are not observing it completely. Rather than we are linking with the images that are already formed. And from there only there becomes a conflict. हम कंपेयर करने लगते हैं कि एक आदर्श चीज उस तरीके की ऐसी होनी चाहिए और जो हम चीज देख रहे हैं उसको ज्यादा ऑब्जर्व ही नहीं करते. तो इसमें जो कॉन्फ्लिक्ट आता है, इसकी वजह से हमारी इंटेलिजेंस, rather than being intelligent, we are hampering our natural intelligence. That's what I'm saying. And now again, I would like you to recall that word. Being wise is not good. Being good is wise. So if you are good, you are automatically wise. Hope I have made the summary of the whole awakening of intelligence clear to you.
That's quite a novel thought. Yes, you have summarized the book, but still we want something more from you, Satish. Like, what are the three major takeaways you thought were from the book for you?
Ma'am, as I already said, the reason for which I have picked up the book was to understand the flow of thoughts that go on whenever I sit for meditation. And the book clearly says that you should not control your thoughts. You have to just observe your thoughts. And if you can observe the thoughts from the very origin to the very destination, then you are in a pure meditative state. And trust me, whenever I try to practice it, it is very difficult. It is not at all easy because thought is coming almost like billions of thoughts in per second. You, if you switch from one thought, observing one thought, you directly automatically go to another thought. So observing is a very difficult task. It needs regular practice as well, but definitely observation is required. Rather than, there should not be any control of thoughts. There should not be any, because once you try to control a thought, you imbibe another thought in yourself. So ultimately you are not observing the thoughts, you are getting overpowered by thoughts. So this is a major learning that has been for me, and I am seeking to imply it for my further spiritual progress in my life.
Okay, you're talking about applying into your life. So you must have already tried to apply some parts of the book in your life. So how has your life changed after reading this book? Even if it is little bit.
I have become more aware. I think that I have become more aware of myself, and I have tried to understand the things that were that can be done that comes very naturally to me. I have become more observant of my surroundings. I don't, again, I am practicing it. Again, I'm telling it is very difficult because this is a very true fact कि हमारे अंदर बहुत सारे images बने हुए हैं. Even if I see some object, I have got billions of images in my mind of that particular object. So trying to see that particular moment, trying to see that particular object the way it is, this is what I'm practicing, and I think I have been quite successful in that. And that has also and once you start observing the facts and the things and the personalities around you and the surroundings around you, you trust me, the perspective that forms at that particular point is different, altogether different from what it used to be before I read this book or before I practiced in day-to-day life.
Indeed, Satish, books do have the power to influence our lives and change the course of our thinking. your interaction today has taught us that books play a major role in our life. And if we tend to share our learnings, I think we grow in knowledge, because knowledge increases only after sharing. So today, after hearing you, we also have added to our kitty of knowledge. Thank you very much, Satish, for spending time with us on this Tuesday evening. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, ma'am. And I would request you to go through the book. And if you go through the book, I think our further discussions on particular scripts and particular topics can become more interesting and more knowledgeable for me as well as for the viewers. So I'll be looking forward to further discussion on these particular topics so that I can also make amendments if there are required in my understanding of this book, because this book is so open-ended that, and it is subject to so wider interpretations, that I would love to hear some other aspects of the understanding from these transcripts that has been presented in the book.
Thank you, Satish. I really understand that when you read a book with the intention of explaining it to somebody else, our understanding of the book becomes twofold. So that's really proven by our interaction today. Thank you very much. So next Tuesday, we will meet again with another spectacular book with an equally enthusiastic member of Have Your Say Club. So we will meet next Tuesday. Until then, keep reading, keep sharing, and keep safe. Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.